Hi everybody, it's Claire with day 15 of the Art by Marlene Advent Calendar. So again, I'm working in the Blue Edition Dina Wakley Media Journal. Oh, sorry, getting my words mixed up there, in the wrong order, but it's, you know which journal it is. And just playing on one of the watercolour pages. So I've added a thin layer of gesso to the page, and then when it was dry, I then added some water over the top because I wanted my acrylic paints to water down and wanted to create a bit of a watercolour effect because I wanted a bright background, but I didn't want it to be too overpowering. So I thought this might be a good way to achieve that. So I've used Dina Wakley's paints in ruby, tangerine, lemon, lime, turquoise and heather. And then before they were dry, I just used a piece of kitchen paper and just blotted some of the excess paint off in some places. So then gave it a quick dry with my heat gun as well. Then this is one of my Art by Marlene stencils from her Sophisticated range. It is mask number 8. Really pretty pattern. It's one of my favourites. You'll notice I've used it quite a lot in these projects. And I'm just going over the top of that stencil using mineral. So I wanted a fairly neutral colour over this, just to add a little bit of pattern onto the background. Just push the colour away a little bit, but not detract too much from the pretty colours that I painted on to start off with. So then I got the die out. That was the flower shape, and I used the papers that came in today's window and just chose some of those pages to add into the die cutting machine to cut out these shapes. So these are going to be the centre of my flowers that I'm going to create, and I'm going to use the booklet that came today to create these flowers. So I've created 3 centres, and once they were ready I then stuck them onto some black card. This was quite tricky because, as you can see, the glue comes through comes through the holes. That's alright, it's just a bit sticky and a bit messy. Then cut them out really carefully, as close as I could to the actual edge of the die, but without cutting the die shape itself. So once they were cut out, I then arranged them, stuck them in place, just using a glue stick for this as well. And then just went through and chose some of the pages that I liked and cut out some petal shapes to go around these flowers. Now I'm only going for an idea of petals because these pages are only tiny, and I don't really want to use them all on this page, so just went for a few of the pages that I liked, and just to create a few petals for each flower shape. And then I noticed I've got some really tiny bits left over, so this was really super fiddly. Cut out some teeny tiny little petals to just sort of finish off that idea of petals on the flowers. The next job was to stick those in place too. And again, I just used a ordinary glue stick for that. And I faffed about a bit with where the placement was going to work best so that it felt balanced. Just shows sometimes you really can overthink things. I actually think it was better before I fiddled around with it, but never mind, it doesn't matter. So then once they were all stuck in place, I then drew some stems onto the flowers. And I was going to look for a little piece of paper that had like a green colour for the leaves, but decided I would just draw them on instead, using my Posca pen. Added some lines into those leaves as well, and then outlined each of the petals using a black gel pen. This isn't a waterproof one, it is just an ordinary black gel pen. But I knew I wasn't going to add any more wet media to the page, so it didn't really matter too much. I did this just to kind of make those petals just pop a little bit more. And then my usual thing, you know me, if you watch my videos, you know I love doing dots. I don't know what it is, but I just decided I would add some dots around the edges of the flowers and the petals. I just love the way that it looks. So then I'm using one of the stencils. I don't know whether I've caught this bit on the video. I'm really sorry, it looks to have gone off shot. And I'm just adding some stenciling to the bottom of the page. Just using black and one of the scallop stencils that we got on one of the previous days. And then I've just added a little bit at the top as well. I reckon my phone must have slipped while it was recording this, so apologies about that. But you can see that in the final photo, how I've added that at the bottom. Then I just decided I would add some more leaves onto the stems as well. And some little white details, because sometimes adding white onto a page can just kind of bring it alive. Little white highlights can just be like that little touch of magic that you need sometimes. And then these are some Art by Marlene quotes. They're from her Essentials range. They're fantastic because they're sticky, so you don't have to get your glue out. And I found a quote that kind of I felt worked really well. Don't wait for your dream to happen, chase it. Stuck those in place, outlined them, there we go, job done. So quite a fun page. There's the stenciling at the bottom. Thanks for watching. Come back again tomorrow to see what we do with the next day's goodies.